I am Diana Clyatt, and welcome to my Canvas Champions project on differentiated learning for EB students. I work with 6th through 8th grade students who are new to the country and have either no English or limited English. While I utilize district curriculum, my students are double blocked, so I have them for 90 plus minutes daily. After our curricular lessons, I pull small groups of students to target specific needs. There's a whole wide spectrum of English speaking ability and academic knowledge among my students. While I target these needs in small groups, I also needed differentiated independent work so that students are capable of completing independently, but also offers challenge and rigor to promote and hopefully accelerate their learning. Their independent work also needs to have flexibility so that students can work at their pace and easily level up to move to more challenging work as they learn. This is where I began designing my individual learning plan, or ILP as I call it for short, to address these needs. Again, my goal is to be able to pull small groups while students are working independently with quality work and rigor, and in an easily accessible format. Since there is such diversity in their English and academic abilities, I created lessons at different levels using the TELPAS labeling and rubrics. So if you see here, these are the levels that I've created. I have the newcomer, beginner, beginner high, which is a level I created just to sort of separate out all the lessons in beginner because there's quite a few. Since that's so much learning takes place here, I felt it would be less overwhelming for students. And then I have intermediate, advanced, and advanced high. Each lesson and every level includes 5 steps. So there's consistency across. All have listening, speaking, reading, writing, and graduate from vocabulary to sight words to simple grammar to more advanced grammar. The exception here is the advanced high. Here, it's heavily focused on academic needs based off of MAP. These lessons utilize kind of a scaffolded approach. So there's heavy scaffolds in newcomer, such as heavy picture support and sentence stemming, and then the scaffolds gradually drop away across the levels. The lessons build within and across levels. So for example, the vocabulary that they hear in step 1 in listening, they use when they get to the step 5 writing. So there's consistency within the level and then again across levels. So in beginner high, if you have a grammar lesson, say on pronouns, well, in intermediate, your grammar lesson is going to be possessive pronouns. Or if you have a lesson on simple present tense, then you move into past tense. So they graduate across the levels as well. So there's consistency across. So here's how students would use the plan. They each have their own tracker, and the color tracker they have is based off of their English and what they need. So with their tracker, which you can see what the trackers look like and the content portion of this module. So if the student is a newcomer, purple, and he's starting ready to do lesson A, he clicks on the purple, lesson A, and then it will take him straight to his lessons. So he has his 5 steps to complete: listening, speaking, reading, vocabulary, writing. On the tracker, they're able to check off as they complete each step. And then on Friday, they write their grades for each step on their tracker and then turn that into me. And then I'm able to easily use their trackers to input grades into the grade book. Then once they finish, they can move to the next lesson. What's nice about this, if a student finishes all 5 steps in 2 to 3 days, then they simply move on to the next lesson. So there's flexibility and they can kind of self-pace. Some students who work quickly maybe get through all steps in 1 or 2 days, and they might complete 2 or 3 lessons within a week. So again, they have pacing and flexibility. The other thing to note, they would first click on Learn, as I said, they click on their plan, and then I just kind of wanted to show you real quick why it's important to have that page at the beginning with the color-coded trackers, because in modules, all of the lessons are available at all times. And without that, it becomes difficult for kids to understand where to go and what lessons they are on. So the huge change for me again was creating that individual learning plan page so that they can easily assess their level, their lessons, wherever they may be at any given point in time. So now, looking at all of this, the question becomes, how is it working, and was it worth the time spent in creating all of this? The answer is amazing and absolutely yes. When I introduced it to my students and explained the purpose to start where you are in learning and to build your English through leveling up, and that everyone would be working at different places, again, based on where you are and what you need, my students understood this and they now became highly motivated to do the work, so to speak. They don't mind it now because they know they're working on what they need, and that was the key for them. Each one is challenged now, instead of just completing an assignment that's sort of geared towards the middle of the pack, so to speak. They now know they're working on what's important for them. And this has created more motivation than I've seen before. I had students that didn't do a whole lot, and now they're working and completing more so that they can level up. What the students and I love is that they're in control of their learning and at the pace of their learning. While I've set a minimum weekly requirement, most of my students not only meet it, but they exceed it. Many work at home, and they're sort of glad to have homework that they can actually do at home. I've had 6 students who've already leveled up to the next level since I started this less than a month ago. I have also moved several students up halfway through their level without completing all the lessons, simply because they were doing so well and I could see they could really handle it and they were ready. Other students have seen this and they appreciate that they don't necessarily have to complete every single thing just because the teacher said so. They see that there's now a purpose to it and that they have autonomy with it, and that's huge. Again, the flexibility at any moment in class makes this super easy to use. I can quickly move students up. They're able to do what they need at a moment's notice. And having done all this work up front is what makes this possible in class. So this individual plan grows with the students. Overall, my differentiated learning plan has been a success. I polled my students and the consensus was, and to be fair to them, what they said is while they may not love it, they do it and they think it really helps them in reading and writing and even listening and speaking. And they say that it helps them more than other programs we've used. So I will absolutely take that. At the end, I'm able to pull small groups with little disruption. And I know my students are continuing their learning journey and independence, and I've seen their growth. Last, this is a journey for me as well. I consider this my first step, as I know ways I want to already tweak and improve it for next year. I know I want to incorporate more TELPAS like listening, speaking, and writing, especially in these beginner, high, and intermediate stages, so that their work is preparing them for their testing as well. I also know I need to increase my newcomer lessons, and there's a few other things I want to tweak and change as well. So it's an evolving process with more to come. Thank you.